it takes a lot from you, going through dialysis. It's like I was looking at a time I reflected, and I was like, "Dang, this time last year, I could do this and that. This year, I don't even walk the same. Now, I walk with a cane, not that I need it, but sometimes you get winded, and I need the cane to prop myself up. Tell you what happened to me to get DSS Day money. I got a 7-Eleven around the corner from where I do dialysis. Yeah. They ATM don't charge me no money to take money out.
Okay.
So that's why I went there. And I'm walking around there, and I got so tired and dizzy, I fell out in the parking lot. Do you know? People walked past me, stepped over me like I belonged where I was laying. And I was like, I'm not even dressed like stain in my clothes and holes in my pants and none of that. I'm dressed decent. And I'm just looking up like somebody would say, yo, you all right? Yo, just sit me up or something. Nothing. Everybody's walking on by. So my ambulance driver was coming to pick me up, and he was like, "Hey Johnson, you still at 7-Eleven?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in the parking lot laying on the ground. I didn't even get in the store yet." 2 minutes, he's pulling in, rushing in like SWAT. Like, you all right? You all right? Helping me up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I got to go in the store. He walks me in the store, and I'm telling him, like, yo, people out here are really heartless. They just lovers of themselves. Like, yo, you ain't benefiting me to just say, hey, man, you all right? Let me sit you up. I'm like laying down, like trying to just get myself together.
Someone who is going through similar issues that I am, as far as health and as far as, living situation. I wanted to bring this up because this is why I entitled it, "This Should Not Be Happening in the United States." I have Sergio joining me right now. Serge, it is so good to see you with me on the channel today. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Brother JB. I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. And thank you so much for coming. One of the questions that I had is, can you give the audience a little bit of a scope of what you're going through and how it's similar to me?
Okay. As well, I'm on dialysis as well. And I'm a diabetic. And
just as an aside, I'm not diabetic, but I do have family who have diabetes though. So just letting you know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm just really talking about me and how my situation came into existence. Is one day I was at I had just finished a treatment, and at this time I was driving still, and I'm walking out the facility, and I used to have high blood pressure. Since dialysis, my pressure become below normal. So there's nothing for my pressure to drop. And when it drops, you get dizzy, disorientated and everything. And I'm walking in the parking lot like I'm drunk. And the doctor sees me, and she jumps out the car and catch me and was like, "You okay?" And I'm like, not really responding to her because I'm just out of my head. So she walks me back in, calls a ambulance to take me to the hospital. And I get there, and then I got people asking me, "Oh, what's going on? How you feel? What's your name? Where you live?" I'm not saying nothing at this time because I thought I answered them, but I didn't. So one of the nurses said, "Okay, you one of those." I didn't know what that meant, but next thing I know, I got a room. I'm in the hospital for 10 days. So anytime they put you by a window, you're staying a while. I learned that much. So I was like, okay, I got people coming in and out the room, but I'm still staying. So I asked the nurse, I said, I heard something about I was one of those. What is that? Oh, she said, on your chart, we got you as homeless. I was like, okay. I said nothing because I was in a situation I really didn't want to be in. So I figured this was my way out. People was telling me, yeah, go through the system. You'll get this, you'll get that. But they don't tell you what you got to go through to get this and that.
Speak on it.
Okay, so now, fast forward 10 days up, they kicking me out the hospital. I'm going into a shelter. Now, I'm in New York State on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
So they have houses out here that you 2 people to a room that they share in the house. You got a curfew when to be in. You got a curfew to get out in the morning. You could come back for lunch and then leave again. And then you come back in for dinner, and pretty much you could stay in because you'll be time for you to come in. Now, if you miss the curfew, you get no bed.
Mm-hmm. Now, just to let you guys know, as far as homelessness is concerned, I know what it's like to be homeless as a child. So I remember when I was little and we had to, after breakfast, you had to leave the shelter. You had to dip. They would not let you stay at home there all day. So me, my mother, and my 2 older brothers will be walking the streets of Orlando homeless. So I know exactly what that's like. As a little kid, I'm talking about before kindergarten as a little kid. So when it comes to shelters, everybody's like, oh my God, they have shelters. Those aren't what you think they are. So please continue. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. And shelters are nothing but a jail. They got curfews and rules that doesn't even make sense. Now, the first thing the guy told me when I got there, he said, no outside food or drinks are permitted in the house. You can't take nothing to your room. So he said, if you came in here with a bottle of soda, they will call everybody in the house down with a cup and they would share your drink amongst the house. Now, that don't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Now, as far as your medications, they lock it up in the room because they said, other people stealing other people's medicines. I understand that. But now, being a diabetic, I had to have my access to my medicine at any given time because those with the diabetes know your sugar is either going to be too high or it's going to drop real low. With that, you can't take insulin and certain pills you can't take on an empty stomach. Yep. So I need access to that kitchen as well. Yep. So the guy, when he found out that as they call it, I'm a medical, they said, well, if you was medical, we wouldn't have took you. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? He said, well, tomorrow morning we'll get you up and you go down to DSS and tell them you're medical. We can't keep you here at the house. And, the people at DSS, Department of Social Services, act like they are taking the money out of their pocket and giving it to you. People looking down their nose like, oh, really? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, the place I'm coming here for help, y'all making it like y'all don't want to help me. And I kind of felt like a veteran, if you will. Like I served the country and I come back and now they forgot about me. I had a neighbor that served the country and that's another show we could do on that. Cause I'm telling you, the way that the government take care of its citizens, they need to revamp the system, man. I'm serious about that. Oh, they really need to revamp the system. And it's like everybody play past the buck. Like, because we talked one time before and you said, yeah, well, that's a federal program. I said, okay, so is homelessness. The federal government gives the state money to take care of their homeless and the state says, well, we too busy. Pass it to the counties. So every county in New York State got some money from the budget that the federal government gave them to help the homeless. And I feel like, this is my opinion, allegedly, I'm thinking that they pinching money off of the budget, the money they get from the federal government, because the state got a budget. They got too much. So I think they take some money from that program to help their budget, passed a little bit to the counties, and the counties say, well, we got a budget, and we will take some off of this. And, that's how I see it. Like, the system just need to be revamped. The federal government need to get off they behinds and do what they should do for the people. Because there's no way. I'm thinking if I go in the system, I should have about 6 months. I could move on from that. They don't want you to move on. They was only supposed to take 30% of your money in New York State. They take 80% of your money. 80% to pay for you to lay your head on a bed.
Yep. And it's not even like it's not like it's a regular apartment, right? It's more like a hotel room, right?
Yeah, well, they put me in a hotel room where the only good thing I could say about this is I got my own bathroom.
Okay.
I'm not sharing that with nobody. So, I keep that nice and tidy. But for me to have a meal, I got a microwave. I just got me a toaster oven, thanks to Mom. And, I got to cook there where I'm eating. And then I'm limited to what I could prepare. My case, I get food stamps also. Yeah. And they give you very little. I go shopping one time. It was once a month. I go shopping that one time. I wipe that out, right? Yeah. And then you got 30 days in the month. I might got 10 days of eating, okay? Because, stuff you put in the refrigerator got an expiration after 10 days. You got to toss it. So I got to take that down in 10 days. And then whatever else is left, like I got oatmeal. Who wants to eat oatmeal every day? I was like, I saw good times. I didn't want to live it. And I got to eat oatmeal.
He said,
sometimes.
I don't want to live.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, yo, every time I eat the oatmeal, I'm thinking of they farina or whatever they was eating. And sometimes you have that for dinner, you know what I mean? And it's like,
I had people eat for dinner.
Well, when your stomach and your back meet, you ain't really gonna complain too much. You gonna eat that.
Yeah.
You take it down. But I got friends that look out and bring me some stuff, and I say, yo, if it wasn't for, they don't really know, and I tell them I appreciate them.
Yeah. Because
this system thing, man, they got to really revamp this, man, because there's no way that we should have to live the way we live, and I tell people, don't feel sorry for me and don't pity me, because I don't need none of that. I'll get through it with God on my side. I had to say I've been blessed. I have come into meeting very good people, and I thank God for that. But the system just sucks, man. So anybody thinking like you hitting hard times and think the system is your way out, it's really not. It's designed to keep you right where you at.
Sergio, if you don't mind, can you also speak to the issues with food affordability while having to eat a certain way with our conditions?
Okay. I'll speak for myself because I don't want to generalize for everybody. But as for myself, I have an issue with protein. My protein is below normal, and I have a nutritionist at the center that said, "Oh, you got to eat chicken, you got to eat eggs," and I was like, "I'm eating this stuff, and my protein just will not come up.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down and we talked, and she was like, well, you should get protein drinks. And I said, well, food stamps don't cover that. And she's like, oh, okay. So I said, listen, I'm gonna just give it to you straight. Like, I have, out of $125, that's in food stamps, I got to get whatever I could afford. Now, I first started out, I was TV dinners to get a little protein in that. I had the oatmeal, that was a must. And that was basically it. If I got some cold cuts and some bread, that was it. That's all I had. So my diet don't really consist of, oh, I'm gonna have chicken tonight, pork chops this night, or whatever like that. Any hot meal I had was basically off of a TV dinner.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you get tired of that, then you go on to something else.
Well, a lot of things that people don't think about is that those of us, especially with chronic illnesses, we also have to eat a certain way, right? So we can't just get whatever is cheap at the store. We can't just go to a food bank and go, hey, I need this, this, and that. It's like, nah, it's whatever we got you. That's what you're going to get, right?
Right.
So, for instance, a lot of dialysis, a lot of people who are dietitians at dialysis, they'll hear TV dinners. They'll go, oh, no, you can't do that. Phosphorus and sodium, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, so what do? I can get some cold cuts and bread. Oh, phosphorus and sodium are definitely a no-no because it's in cold cuts and bread, right? So anything that's quick and fast has phosphorus in it. So a lot of us, you have to limit our phosphorus. Then we have to limit our sodium. But then it's like, okay, I got some bananas. Up. Too much potassium. Potassium can affect your heart. You got to watch out for that. Okay, well, let me get some tomato sauce to make some spaghetti. Oh, tomatoes. Tomato has a lot of potassium, so you got to be careful about that. So it's like every single where you go, right? There's a barrier. Boom, 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 boom. So in order to be able to eat while being on dialysis, you have to be kind of picky. But you can't afford to be picky when your food stamps are so low and your cash or your money is funny. And so there was somebody made a comment on here. Jen said, like ramen is loaded with sodium. Bingo. Like, it's cheap. I can afford it, but I can't have it because it will mess my numbers up at dialysis. It will make me super thirsty, which makes me fluid overloaded. It will have a lot of phosphorus, which means that if my phosphorus goes high, my body turns to stone, right? And so on top of all that, then guess what? That's how it is. And a lot of times people will go, well, you just trying to be, you can't be picky because you're on food stamps. I have to. It's part of my health. So then what else do you want me to do? Right? So that's basically something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, that a lot of us also have many dietary restrictions. And then some people even have what I like to call food consistency restrictions, because some people may have dentures. Some people may have teeth that's, fragile and brittle, so they can't eat certain things. I have family members that have dentures, but they can only eat certain things. And then, so that adds on top of what they can and can't have. So a lot of people don't take this into consideration too.
Yeah, they really don't. Like I went through, I'm on my third nutritionist. I like her better than the other ones because she's more realistic and she understands. And I said, I appreciate you, because the other people was like, this is no. And I'm like, okay, I take binders for the phosphorus, because she's a realist. Like I said, she's like, phosphorus is in everything. So she said, take the pill with anything you eat.
Bruh,
so I was like, okay.
I know, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm with that. And I was like, okay, so at least you're helping me with the food, because we really don't have a choice. Now, this is funny. She gave me a list for the renal diet, which is, if you're on dialysis, it's a renal diet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a diabetic diet. Do you know, in that I was confused? So it was like 1 week I was eating for the diabetes. The other week I was eating for the renal. And then one day when she came and I said, listen, I got a question. And she said, yeah, I like when you have questions. So I said, yeah, well, listen, I'm a diabetic also. And I said, so which diet do I follow? She said, renal trumps everything. So now with the diabetes, you can't eat white rice, but they said you can have brown rice. The renal diet, you can't eat brown rice, but you can have white rice. So I was like going this way, like, yo, what do? I don't know what to do. So she said, yeah, the renal trumps everything. So now when I look at and compare the two, I was like, okay, the renal diet is going to just throw my sugar up.
Yeah, because if you ask an endocrinologist, they're going to be like, no. Don't you dare touch that white rice. But then the nephrologist is going to be like, no. Don't touch that brown rice because it's higher in potassium. So it's just like,
yep.
It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yes. And I be feeling like that because I was like, I was getting bread. It was like, okay, the dialysis say eat white bread. Diabetes said eat the brown bread, the whole wheat. Mm-hmm. Whole wheat is not good for dialysis patients. Whatever it does, they said no, don't eat whole wheat. So yeah. I'm like, well, I mean, then what are you telling me? Just get in the casket and just give up? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But I was like, oh, we got to come to something. So she, she gave me the phosphorus pills, the calcium acetate, so ones I take, and they work pretty good. And when we do blood work once a month. Yeah. And they saw the numbers were great. They said the only issue I got with you now is your protein.
Yeah.
I said, look, my protein just been low for the longest. I don't know what to tell you. I eat stuff with protein in it. And that's why I had told them, like, one of my symptoms were like I'm up energetic. And once I do something, it's like somebody beat the crap out of me. And like I got nothing. I wait a while, it comes back a little bit, and then it goes out again. So they never heard that. And then when she saw the protein, she said, yeah, that could be what it is. And I said, well, yeah, I think I was like, it's just hard with this. People treat you like you're less than. People think that like I got my access in my arm. Yeah. So I'm like a one-arm bandit, like some people say. You too? Okay. So how it feels when that arm when you push it too much, and it feels like the access is about to pop out of the artery or whatever. So I stop and I always ice it up.
Yeah, this is why and they told me many times that you cannot lift more than 10 pounds with that arm. Yeah, that's why I never lift more than 10 pounds with this arm.
Yeah, my mother got on me. I was she took me to the store and I picked up something, and I have this habit. I'm right-handed, but I always was build up my lesser arm to be equal to my dominant arm. Mm-hmm. And I picked up the bag, and she yelled at me, and I dropped it. And I was like, "What happened?" She said, "There you go, picking up with that arm." And I was like, it's just a habit. Yeah. I always start off with my left and come back and bring it in with the right. And I said, Mom, it's just a habit, but she, I get it. She looking out. And she's like, yo, that thing pop out. You said 5 minutes, nobody could save. And I keep that in mind. So, it's a struggle, but you know what I'm saying? I do what I have to do, but it's just more so I just don't want the, people to think like be duped like I was, thinking like the system is here to help you, and the system would just tear you down to nothing.
Yeah.
Where you need them. And let me tell you what they did to me like 2 weeks ago. I paid for my share of the housing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give me traveling expenses. They said, well, you make too much money. And they called me. Yeah. They told me I make too much money. They said, so you have enough money to get around on your own. And I'm like, all right. I didn't argue with them. So they had this setup where you put your money in the money order. You could pay it to the front desk. They have somebody that comes around and pick up the money orders and drop their money off. I already paid the front desk their money, and I get a call after I did it. You're scheduled to come down here to bring money with you when you come. I'm telling the lady, I already paid them because my worker told me to go back to paying them at the front desk like I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't come down there, they had the guy come pick up the money orders, drop off their money, and they didn't pay for my stay at the motel. So now I know something's wrong because every time I leave the room to come back, my key don't work for me to get into the room. So I got to go down to the front desk and, you refresh my key. Now, the people that I deal with here, they love me. They try to do things so I don't have to, I don't have to make that trip to go up there. They try to take care of everything for me in the front desk, and I appreciate them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But because I didn't go down there, they didn't send my money back here. So the people had an attitude. So every other day, I'm refreshing the key to get in the room. So when I saw the people that I dealt with, I asked them, I said, did y'all get paid? And they said, no. I said, all right, I'm going to refresh my key. I said, when I get up to the room, I'm going to call them. I said, do me a favor, y'all call them also. Because I called them 2 weeks ago. They never returned my call. So I'm calling them. Huh?
These are the people that's supposed to pay the front desk.
Yeah, the people that are at DSS, right. They're supposed to send them a check. And I'm calling them. They're not answering my call. The lady calls, they pick up the phone and talk to her. So she was upset, and because I just finished talking to her, of course, so she was upset. So she was like, I demand payment for him. And they was like, okay, because she told him, your guy came and picked up his money order. Why y'all didn't pay for his room? So, okay. They said, we'll take care of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Said, okay. All of a sudden, my phone rings. It's DSS calling me. Mm-hmm. So I answer the phone like, hello? It's like, yeah, it's your responsibility to bring us our money. I said, yo, y'all got y'all money. Your guy came and picked it up. So the lady not talking to me, she's talking at me, dismissing me like I'm a pain in the behind, like I'm a waste of her time. And I'm trying to tell her, look, my worker told me, look, next month, get here. Click, hung up the phone. Now, anybody that knows me, I'm a mild-mannered guy. Mm-hmm. But hang up on me like that, I was ready to go down there to see her. And I was so hot. And I said, yo, see, this is the setup. You get them mad enough to where they don't want to deal with this. They won't recertify. They'll leave. Now, before I got into this situation, I used to talk to homeless people and ask them, like I said, this may be stupid, but why are you homeless? Mm. And all they kept saying to me was, yo, the system. That's why I call it the system. They say the system. They said you work, you buy a house, you pay the house off 30-year loan. After that, you at risk of losing your house if you don't pay the taxes. So they got fed up with the system and just said, yo, I'm just better off just staying out here on the street. At least my money's my money. I don't have to deal with the bureaucracy of, the system. And I said, yeah, it makes sense. So a lot of people are not homeless because they're just lazy. How, the system would say we're lazy people. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they have so much red tape and like they don't want to see you win, because if everybody win, what do we need them for?
Good point.
And it's just set up so I was already fed up. I was to that point. I was like, I'm not recertifying. I'm just getting out of here. That's because I was mad.
Yeah.
Now that I'm calmed down and now I'm dissecting and looking at it and watching shows like yours and Savvy's and every people like that, talking to Roger, also Roger Miller. What's up, Roger? I forgot. I forget you. Talking to him, I calmed down and then I start seeing things. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not a quitter and you want me to quit. And then it's like, it's not enough people out here fighting for us. I just like, what solution? If I knew who to talk to, I would talk to them and tell them, y'all need to really revamp this system, because it makes no sense for people like in our situation. I can't even really, I gotta have a limited relationship because I feel like I'm living in that. I don't know if anybody ever saw that movie Claudine with James Earl Jones and what was her name, Diana Carroll, where she was on welfare, and whenever the welfare people came by the house, they had to hide the iron, they had to hide all the appliances. She had to get rid of him because if they saw that, oh, you have somebody helping you in the household, they ready to kick you off. You know what I'm saying? I can't get close to nobody because just as soon as I do, and they try to help me out, they was like, oh, well, you got more money than you normally have. Oh, well, then we're going to cut this. As a matter of fact, well, you can make it without it. So they going to cut you off.
So, okay. So for anybody who is not in the position that people like us are in, right? Those of us who are, like, for instance, people like myself, I get food stamps, things like that, right? When you apply for Medicare and like state Medicaid, things like that, they want your bank account. They want to know exactly how much you got in your bank account. They want to know if you have any ownership of anything like a car, home. They want to know if you have any investments, anything like that. And it's not like if you have like, hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. Even if you cannot have on disability more than $2,000 in a checking or savings account at one time. Because if you have more than $2,000 in your savings, if you have more than $2,000, Social Security disability say, you're not disabled no more. We out. There's also a policy where if you're on Social Security disability, now I think it's somewhere around $1,300, maybe $1,400. I can't remember. I have to look it up now. But at the time, it was about $1,200, like $1,241, something like that. If you are working and if you earn more than that $1,200 in a month, and it's consistent for 6 months to a year, Social Security will look at that and go, you're making too much. Even if you go 1 cent over, you're making too much. We're taking your entire disability benefits and we're cutting you off. And the crazy part is, it's not like it's prorated. Like if you make, like, let's say I make $100 over, or they're going to say, oh, we're just going to take $50 away. Or if you make $100 over, we're going to take $100 away. It's nothing like that. It's like, if you make 1 cent over, we're taking your entire disability check away, meaning your entire principal income is gone.
Gone. Yep.
That's
it.
how the system works. And so so even if you're trying to save up money, now they do have some programs, right, that you have to apply for. It's not automatic. And then another thing I always ask people is, why is it that when somebody who's on Social Security disability, why are they never automatically enrolled into Section 8 or any type of housing programs automatically?
You would think that that's what they would do. I thought I was. My worker sent me a letter and said, "Do this now." Open it up, and it was a waiting list for Section 8. It wasn't Section 8 just taking you right now. Oh, you're on a waiting list.
A waiting list.
If you're lucky to be, I'm still waiting. People been on that. People been on that before I even got hip to it, and they still waiting. They said, "Oh, we're closed right now, but when we open up, if you're the lucky recipient of the first 400, we'll deal with you."
There you go.
Yeah. So that's what that is.
Roll the dice and pray to Lady Luck that you actually receive Section 8. So guess what? Even though it is not your fault that you're in the situation that you're in, you have to pray to the gods of the capitalist system that they actually pick you so that you can actually have a place to live.
Yeah. Yes. And that's what it is right now. I am on a waiting list for New York. I'm on a waiting list for Massachusetts. I'm on a waiting list. I just been putting them in wherever I see them. And I feel like whoever called me, that's where I'm meant to be. And I hear some, like, what they're doing now is they trying to put Section 8 people in upper class neighborhoods now. So I was like, well, that's a good thing. They trying to make it I forgot what they call it, but they're putting Section 8 like over here where we at. Section 8 is going into like Garden City, Mineola, stuff like that. That's where the other half live, that's living on a higher scale. So they doing stuff like that now. But I was just like just to make ends meet though. With that, I won't do nothing on the books because I already know I get on the books, I'm gonna be over, and then I'm gonna lose that. And then with me losing my my Social Security, with me losing that, and then to take a job, I won't have no money messing with the DSS because they're gonna take the whole thing.
Yeah,
whatever I make, they taking that.
Yeah. And then on top of it, those of us who are dialysis patients, some people can work after dialysis. Some, not all of us. I'm good for nothing after dialysis.
You're not alone.
Yeah. And so, just to give you a little bit of a background, from 2016 to mid 2019, I think it was, I was working, right? And I worked, and you can vouch for this. Being on dialysis is like having a job because when you get home, you're exhausted, right?
Yes.
And you're 3 times a week. For me, my treatment time is 4 hours and 45 minutes. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and by the time I get home is noon. Now, when I was working, I would work 4 days a week and then have dialysis 3 days a week. That's 7 days without a break whatsoever. I did that for over 2 years, to the point where my body was saying stop. I literally had pains while I was at work because I was working and going to dialysis. And then some people go, well, you can work more if you just, came to work after dialysis. And I'm like, I am beyond exhausted. And they're like,
Yeah.
you just have to get used to it. These are people, these are able-bodied people going, well, you just have to get used to it. Or they'll go, well, my friend did this and they were successful in doing it. And I'm like, not everybody is the exact same.
Right.
And so I did that for 2 years, and my body literally said stop. My body forced me to stop. And then on top of it, I was making slightly over what I was supposed to earn on disability. And next thing you know, Social Security said, nope. Next thing you know, my principal income that I had completely was taken away. So I literally had to quit my job just so that I can keep my principal income.
What kills me is when they take it from you, they quick to have it in a little sentence. You could reapply once your circumstances change. I was like, really? Really? They kill me. I was also I've done some of everything. My major love was I love tinkling with cars. And it got to where I couldn't even change a tire. I mean, after dialysis, I had a flat. I'm out there trying to break the nut. I couldn't even. I'm standing on the wrench, full body, and I ain't a Twinkie. I'm standing on the wrench with everything I got, and I'm standing in the air like, yo, this thing is not moving.
Yeah.
I had to call, my son. It came and broke that, and I literally hugged him because I was like, you don't know, but you my hero right now.
Yeah.
Because people who see you in a situation, they not knowing. But my car is at a dialysis center. Like, seriously, people coming out seeing me. Only one guy tried to help, and he couldn't even break it. And he just got off the machine too. And I was like, bro, if I couldn't break it, I know you ain't breaking it. Yeah. But I literally hugged my son and said, yo, you don't realize you're a hero to me right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I can't even do this little simple thing anymore.
Yeah.
Mm. It takes a lot from you, going through dialysis. It's like I was looking at a time I reflected, and I was like, dang, this time last year, I could do this and that. This year, I don't even walk the same. I walk with a cane. Not that I need it, but sometimes, you get winded and I need the cane to prop myself up. Tell you what happened to me to get DSS Day money. I got a 7-Eleven around the corner from where I do dialysis. Yeah. They ATM don't charge me no money to take money out.
Okay.
So that's why I went there. And I'm walking around there, and I got so tired and dizzy, I fell out in the parking lot. Do you know? People walked past me, stepped over me like I belonged where I was laying. And I was like, I'm not even dressed like stain in my clothes and holes in my pants and none of that. I'm dressed decent. And I'm just looking up like somebody would say, yo, you all right? Yo, just sit me up or something. Nothing. Everybody's walking on by. So my ambulance driver was coming to pick me up, and he was like, hey Johnson, you still at 7-Eleven? I said, yeah, I'm in the parking lot laying on the ground. I didn't even get in the store yet. 2 minutes he's pulling in, rushing in like SWAT. Like, you all right? Helping me up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I gotta go in the store. He walks me in the store, and I'm telling him, like, yo, people out here are really heartless. They just lovers of themselves. Like, yo, you ain't benefiting me to just say, hey, man, you all right? let me sit you up. I'm like laying down, like trying to just get myself together. And it's just like, maybe it needed to happen that way, because I was like, if I had the money on me, ain't no telling anybody checking me could have went in my pockets and took the money. I wasn't in a condition where I could have defended myself. So in a way, I was kind of glad that it happened before I got to the money. So it turned out that way. But it's the dialysis beat you. I know after I hit a treatment, and when I get in the room, the first thing I do is collapse on the bed, coat and all. I don't take nothing off until after I feel better a little bit. I got up one time thinking I was okay and fainted and hit the floor. And so it's something.
Yeah.
It really is.
Just to answer the question, because some people are like, what is dialysis? Somebody from Twitch, Poshpand8 says, what is dialysis? So just as an explanation, dialysis, or kidney dialysis as is typically known as, is when a treatment where your kidneys are no longer functioning. So therefore, your body needs that kidney function to happen so that it filters the blood. It also restores the pH balance within your body, as well as it removes the impurities outside of your body and sends them to your bladder so that you can execute them. When your kidneys are no longer working, then that buildup of impurities still accumulates within the body. It has no place to go. And so because of that, you have to have an artificial kidney, which is known as a dialyzer, that your blood has to go through, or there's different kinds of dialysis, but I'm sticking to hemodialysis right now. And so hemodialysis means that the blood from your body is taken, put through a dialyzer, and it's done through a reverse osmosis process where the excess fluid, as well as impurities, is taken out from the blood. And then that clean blood is put back inside your body. And so depending on the person, depending on the size, and depending on the severity of their kidney function, from having zero kidney function to having at a certain level, which they deem you to have dialysis, what ends up happening is that determines how long you're having the treatments and how frequent you're having the treatments throughout the week. For people who are on dialysis, it is also an extremely draining process, meaning some people will say, oh, well, I feel like I just got off of work. That's how tired I am. For some of us, it is so exhausting to the point where we can barely keep our head up. Even sitting like this is exhausting.
Yes.
Right.
And the look, like, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but when I am feeling like crap, it shows, because everybody, you need an ambulance? And I'm like, nah, I'm like, Dad, I look that bad? It was like, yo, man, you look like you went through it and then some. And it's just the way it makes you look. You feel even worse. I tell people all the time, like, a little toddler can come and beat me up, and they would win. They would literally win. They would literally win.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah, you have nothing. You have nothing. I'd be lucky if I could put my hand up to stop the little kid from hitting me. And if they did get in and hit me, it would hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hold you. It would hurt.
Yep.
And I was like, yo, you don't have to beat me. Put your little kid on me.
Yep.
If you want to do that, because you might kill me. So let the little kid do it. I'll feel the pain. Trust me. You be wiped out like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Kick my ass.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, like, yo, man, just put your little toddler on me, man. I said, yo, they got it. They got it. I tell my kids too. I said, look, you may one day hear your father say, yo, you got it. I don't want no smoke. We ain't got to move no furniture. I said, that don't mean that I'm a punk.
Yeah.
I said, I know what I'm going through, and trust me, I don't want that added stress to how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'll even apologize to you if I was like, hey, I might have came across wrong. I'm sorry. You know, I'm already on that humble wagon right now because I was like, yo, I don't want to say the wrong thing to the person, anybody, and they grabbed me by my shirt, and I'm like, yo, man, you see, I'm light. You know, why you want to hit me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is like when it comes to being a dialysis patient and being in this system, I think what a lot of people don't get is that there are some of us that we are trying to be okay, but even just trying to be okay is a job in itself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like somebody like myself, I get food stamps, but what's $30 a month? Like that's like for instance, $30, that's what, 2 meals, right? And then on top of it, for me, I get I get paratransit service, but I have to still pay a copay for that. So
yeah.
that's money that goes, right? Then on
Mm-hmm.
top of it, some of us still have to pay for our meds. Our meds are expensive. Let me share with
Yes.
y'all something. I'm gonna show you something. You see, is it in here? I think I have it. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna show y'all something. Because a lot of times people will look at me and go, well, this isn't that much. Um, let me share. And thank God this is the amount that it is. But I want you guys to research. You guys can do research or what have you. This is a medication that I have to take, right? So that my dialysis access does not clot. Because once this clots, then I have to go to the hospital and I actually literally have to have a tube put inside me called a perm cath, right? That perm cath is there so that I can have dialysis because without that and without this access, I die. 2 weeks, I'm
Right.
dead, right? Now, because I have to take this medication and go see a vascular surgeon, this medication by itself is around $500 a month. Thank goodness for Medicaid and Medicare, because without it, I'd be $500 per month in the hole without this. This is a 30-day supply, $500. Go ahead and look it up. Eliquis, 5 milligrams, $500. Now, here's the crazy part. Some people have to pay, you know, $50, $60, $70 for it, even with insurance. But that's the weird part. Like, some of us may not be able to do, have it for free like I can. Some people may not be able to do that. Some people have copays to pay. And so what are they to do? And if they're in the same situation as me, or let's say hypothetically, they get themselves a job, but they can only make so much per hour until they get their disability taken away. So, and also I wanted to share this. Let me share this really quick because I think this is also really important. You were talking about the living situation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Roger for this too. This is Florida. Let me go to New York because this shows how much you need to make in order to live in a 2-bedroom in New York. So let's share this. And let me enlarge this. All right. So this is facts in New York, right? So you need to make $40.08 per hour for housing, right? The minimum wage currently in New York is $14.20. Right?
That's a joke.
Yeah, which is a joke. So for a one bedroom, it's $1,811. Right? So the crazy part is that's how much you need to pay in order for a one bedroom, typically.
And mind you,
So,
that is not with utilities.
yeah, that's not utilities. And the average of a person that gets Social Security disability is around $1,000.
If he's lucky.
If you're lucky. And so who gets the equivalent of $40.08 an hour to afford a two bedroom? Because
It ain't
I
me.
sure as hell don't.
Yeah, I was saying, it ain't me. And if anybody got tips of where I could go, please put it in the comments. I'm there. This sucks, man. Yo, they act like they taking the money out of their pocket to give to you, and that's not even the case, and it just doesn't even make sense. Like the like the food stamp thing. At least to alleviate some of the pain, they should do the food stamps every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You
Now,
know, at least you know you get to go see the grocery store at least twice a month.
now let me share this with y'all. All right. So if in New York you need to make $40.08 an hour to afford a two bedroom apartment in New York, that means you need to make $64,012.80. Right? Well, if somebody who's on Social Security disability is only getting about $1,000, if they're lucky, then they don't even make that within 6 months.
Mm-mm.
They don't even make that much in 6 months.
$6 grand.
So how are we able to live if we can't even get on housing? We have to be put on the list. So therefore, of course, a lot of us who are disabled are homeless. Of course, because we can't afford to live. Now, let me
They
show
don't
y'all.
want you to.
Let me show you guys, because I'm gonna show y'all Florida. That's where I live. Because a lot of people are like, well, you can just move to a cheaper state. It don't work like that. Let me show you. Let me see. All right. Share Florida. So in Florida, you need to make $30.59 per hour in order to afford a two bedroom in Florida. Right? So $30.59 an hour times 160 hours, because that's 40 hours a week. That's $4,894.40. So, with that being said, if you're only getting about $1,000, if you're lucky, in Social Security disability, how in the world are you going to be able to afford a two bedroom apartment in Florida?
Can't do it.
You want to know something about me? The amount of money I get in disability doesn't even cover my rent.
Me neither.
My rent, actually no. I think my rent is just higher than my disability benefits. So that doesn't account for electricity. That doesn't account for food. That doesn't account for, utilities, food, transportation, any of that.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
But they tell you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it a go. And I'm like, how can I? You know, I hear some of these politicians crying, we got to shrink government. And, you know, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, you want to shrink it now because you already made it. You don't want
Yeah.
nobody else to come along and become the new millionaire, the new hot thing out here. You know, and I'm like, yo, these politicians, as I said to Roger this morning, yo, they're a joke. And you know, we was talking about some politicians who are flat, you know, just like just boring. And you wouldn't give them the time of day. I said, yeah, well, that's why they look for guys like John F. Kennedy and Barack Obama. Like they had a little pizzazz that could snatch the crowd up, it get them excited. And I was like, you know, but he had pulled my coat chain to something that I didn't know, that the president don't really need Congress like that. He was telling me that they passed a whole bunch of laws that they are not even enforcing to this day. All the president got to do is go in there and enforce the laws that are already on the books. He could do away. He could have got us at the time when it was Medicare for all. The president could have did that, which would have helped everybody.
Yep.
You know, he said it was like laws that something he was saying, and I was like, yeah, well, why don't the president just do that? Well, you know, because they in pharmaceuticals pockets and you know, the lobbyists and stuff like that. So I'm like, they selling us out for a little bit of money under the table. When I got into watching politics, thanks to Ed Schultz, God bless him, may he rest in peace. Me and Raj turned me on to him. And I'm looking at some of the things he's saying and watching his show. Like MSNBC at that time was a much watched system from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I was tuned into that. And he said these lobbyists only paying these politicians like $5,000. And I was like, they selling us out that cheap? I was pissed when I heard that. I was like, yo, man, at least get $100,000 or something. Like you selling us for 5,000?
Give me a Bugatti.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let me know I was worth something. 5,000.
Yeah, I was like, yo, only 5 bones? That's all you're gonna sell me out for? If you're gonna sell me out, I'd like to make it worth it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, geez, like. I said maybe I should be a politician, but I wouldn't want to sell out to people. I really think the people, Roger's on this ballot initiative, and I'm gonna tell you, before he tell anybody in the YouTube, I hear it first, and he drilled it in me till like I know it, and I'm like, you know what, that's the way to go. Yeah. Before he put it out there, he run it by me, and I'm telling you, yeah, tweak this a little bit, you know, less of that, you got it. And I agree with him. Ballot initiatives is the way to go. Now, we don't have it here in New York, but if the other states that got it would exercise theirs, the states that don't have it would get it, then Roger could show y'all exactly what to do with it. Because he got ideas up the wazoo of what he would like to do, and it would help everybody. Because you know you can't look to the politician, because now you think about the politician. The politician, he got to be that guy in high school, the popular kid, because he dealing with other senators or other congressmen throughout the state. You got to gravitate them to your side to get your idea pushed. If the guy ain't got none of that coolness, his ideas ain't going nowhere. With the ballot initiative, the people would do it. The politician will run to your idea. And if you don't believe me, look at when Donald Trump was in office, right? We had people marching and protesting. Women actually started a lot of that. This wasn't right, that wasn't right. They was marching and protesting. Who joined their marches? The Democrats did. They in the crowd. Yeah, that's not right. The Republicans are wrong for that. Like they on our side.
Yep.
And once the end of the march came, we looked to them. But what y'all gonna do now? They like, well, I don't know. What are y'all gonna get mad about next? That ain't how it's supposed to work. If y'all supposed to be helping run the country, you're supposed to know what your people want and need. Y'all not executing it because y'all busy ducking down, taking that money under the table. Oh, don't do it, right? Just to make sure. The Republicans are paid to do, we're paid not to do. So the Democrats will tell you, hey, we'll tell the people, we're fighting for you. We're on your side. They ain't doing nothing for you. Because if you was on my side, I wouldn't be in this situation like that. My situation should be a piece of cake right now. They say, oh, you're disabled. Oh, you have a chronic illness. Okay, but we're going to do this for you to give you a better quality of life, or, something like that. They're not doing that. They was like, all right, well, oh, you still kicking? This is how I feel. When I call my workers and they don't answer, I'll leave them a message, and I be nasty. Like, I'm still living, so, you can call me back if you like. 2 weeks, I ain't heard from them. So I guess they think if I don't show up next month, oh, he they looking for a death certificate. Nah, I'm not making it that easy for you. I'm gonna be a pain in y'all behind, just like y'all being for me on the. Got people thinking, oh, the system, the government, we're here to help our people. Y'all not here to help nobody. Nothing at all. And I didn't know my situation would be the way it is because other people that was in the system didn't tell me the intricacies of what you got to go through to get a little something.
Yeah.
I just know they had it. I'm looking at them after the fact. I took my neighbor, he passed away too, but he was in the military and I had to take him to the VA hospital. So I took him. I'm in awe when I'm walking through there because I'm seeing a lot of history. So I love history and I'm like, wow, this and that. Next time I took him, I started talking to the veterans, getting what you here for and all this, that, and the third. And stories they was telling me was like, hold up, you serve the country and they treat you like this? Like, it ain't just a homeless thing. People even that got homes and fighting to try to keep their homes, but the system just need to be revamped. I'm just saying the whole thing. The government needs to really step up, take care of their citizens, and make it like everybody deserve everybody deserve to have a good life, a piece of a good life. It's something that they shouldn't have to fight so hard to try to maintain. Like the immigrants that are coming here to New York, at one point I was mad because they getting 4 and 5-star hotels. They getting 3 hot meals. They getting to roam around. They not subject to what we are subject to living in a shelter. And I got mad at that. But yet the other side of me, but everybody deserves to have a good quality of life. But these people, they not talking about the people that staying at the hotels and everything like that. They don't talk about that. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, thank you, buddy. Okay. Oh, okay. See, it was my housekeeper was just bringing me some mail. Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. But just wanted to harp on the point about a lot of immigrants that are coming in. That it seems like that they're getting better treatment within our country compared to a lot of us who are maybe disadvantaged. And I look at it like African tribes and colonialism. What colonizers will do is that they'll come into an African tribe and they will make one tribe, they'll have it better, they'll provide for that tribe to have it better than the other tribe to cause division between the tribes. So then there's strife. There's people against one another.
Right.
So you have immigrants that'll come from Honduras, Guatemala, they'll come from Cuba, they'll come from El Salvador, what have you, right? And they'll travel here, and then they'll get somewhat better treatment than even some of us. And then we see that, and then it'll cause resentment among many of us, even though they're also poor, they're also disenfranchised because of a lot of the policies that the United States have done. And so now that it creates the division. So then we start to breed, xenophobia, but then they also start to breed and start to believe, oh, well, the black people in this country or the poor people in this country, they're just lazy. They haven't gotten it because they haven't did what we did, right? And so now there's a division that's created between the workers that immigrated here versus the workers that are here. And it's all because of a system that pits us against one another. So then we're like, oh man, they're getting better. Like, oh, the Latinos, they're doing so much better in this country because they travel here. But it's all by design to keep us against one another. And that's something that I've noticed. And so when we start to actually come together with the immigrants and then the poor people in this country, and then we start to, hey, you're being screwed over too. It's just in a different way. Just like we're being screwed over. Let's team up. And that's when they get scared. And that's one thing I noticed. And the thing is, it's almost like being a little kid. You have two little kids, one's being treated horribly, and then one's being treated better. But it's not necessarily that little kid's fault that they're being treated better. It's the parent that's being abusive to one and treating the other one better.
Favorable,
yeah.
That's why I tell Raj, you got to say system, because systematically, that's exactly what they do. Now, you touch on something that's something that a lot of people might not be aware of, but under the black umbrella, if you're not white, they throw you under the black umbrella. Now, those are the people you just mentioned that comes in, that's tossed under our umbrella. They help them. White America says, oh, well, we're doing for the blacks. No, you're not. Because when Joe Biden had those Afghanistan people that they was bringing from Afghanistan over here, that he was getting them out of there, they went to New Jersey. In New Jersey, they got a check for $250,000 and a place to stay. They got a community over there. That was put under our umbrella, so they was helping the blacks. I said no, because if they was to really come and ask me, I would say my people ain't getting nothing. And this is not to like I said, everybody deserves a fair quality of life, but when are we going to get ours? I mean, specifically for the black people. They'll do for any other people they put under our umbrella, and they rise over us, and we still stay at the bottom. We're a footstool for everybody else. And what's his name? Phil Scott. If I'm saying it right, Rob. Phil Scott. Yeah, this guy, he got a podcast. I love him. When he just bring it out. He talking about Chicago. Rod sent me a link where he a lady from the civil rights era in that movement, because I tell people you gotta gauge your audience. The older people, older than us, I'm 55, older than me are in civil rights, right? So I know all they care about is they want to see people that look like them in those positions. So I say, I'm happy that y'all got to see that. But I said, now what y'all got to do is get with the millennials and Gen Zs they don't care if you look like us. They want the ones that's doing something for us. I said, that's what it is now.
Yep.
Right? Exactly. That's what it is now. I told them, I don't care if you look like me, as you looking out for me is what I care about. And they seem to want to fatten their pockets and make sure they good. That was that guy in South Carolina, Jim Clyburn. Something I hear about him in the poorest district, but yeah, he rich though.
He rich.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the fish fry ain't doing all that. I don't care what you say. I could fry fish, and it ain't making me rich, but is, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, I tell the people, and I agree. Republicans, Democrats ain't gonna do nothing for you. One is paid to do, one is paid not to do. Okay? Independent is the way to go. Where you hear a good idea and you see where you could benefit from it, go that way. You know, third party. I'm voting third party. I can't say who yet, but I know it won't be a Democrat or Republican. I might even have to write in a name. And if everybody can hear me on this screen, Cornel West, if he don't make it, and anybody there you don't like, let's all just write in Cornel West. Let's see what happens. Maybe he'll get the seat anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna show Jim Clyburn real quick. I'm gonna show you Jim Clyburn. Just to anybody who doesn't know, this is Jim Clyburn.
Yeah.
That's Jim
him.
Clyburn. That's what I think about him. Because
he looks like us, but he ain't doing nothing for us, man.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. So yeah. But yeah, so that's what we're going through, and of course, you know, I hope and wish you so much better than what you're getting in the system. I hope so much better for everybody, and that's why mutual aid and you know, focusing on things that we have the power to do. For instance, you brought up ballot initiatives, which is very important. I think that is some of the things that we can also talk about, and you know, build class consciousness and community with our community members so that we are able to move for a better system to change the system itself. So I just want to thank you for coming on, man, and speaking your truth and basically letting people know what was what and what we're dealing with in this country too.
Yeah. Hey, man, thank you for having me. And, you know, I'm here for you, and I wish you all the best as well. And what I do for me, I also do for you. So
thank you.
I know the struggle is real. People believe me when, you know, I'm not begging for any assistance or nothing, but like sometimes we really don't know what a person is dealing with, going through, or whatever. You know, just to check on them. You know, don't mean you got to come out your pocket, but you know, maybe just sit them up if you see them laying down. You know, any little thing, man. It's just like, it's just sad that we have to endure this, and people get the misconception that, oh, we lazy, we just looking for free handouts. Now, not all of us are like that. I know there are con artists out here, and you got to be very discerning on who you assist. And me, I'd rather work for mine, but due to my health status, I gotta get in this boat. And you know, I will, anything I come up against, JB, I would gladly like to hit you up and give you an idea. Maybe we could talk about and try to get something happening with the or you find out who to talk to. I'll talk to the person or get the ball rolling that we need to change this system. That's just the main thing. We shouldn't live like we living. People shouldn't think the worst of us, like we don't want better. We deserve better. And I might not live to see it, but we gonna get better. That I guarantee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Before you go, Roger wanted me to ask you this question. He said, JB, don't forget to ask about the plant, the gun, and his brother. What is Roger talking about?
Rogers. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you this. I will talk to you off camera with that because it might send people the wrong message with that. But I told Raj that it was something about a weed plant. My brother had a weed plant and he was growing. It was growing beautiful in the backyard. And somebody helped themselves to it, and it was needless to say, my brother was real tight, and you know, I'll talk to you about that off the camera. Raj, that's dirty, man.
Okay.
That's dirty, Raj.
All right. All right, man. It was so good to see you, Serge. It's so nice to, put your face along with your voice. And so keep speaking out. And is there any way that anybody can offer you any type of assistance at all that you have, that people that you could like to share or things like that?
Well, help me right now, please. That's at Jaybefaunt. No, I'm just kidding. JB, I'm just joking. Nah, man. I got a support system. You know, like I said, I still got family around here, and every now and again, they they hit me off, and I thank God for that. But nah, I'm good. If anything, though, y'all get in touch with him if anybody know who I could talk to start shaking up the system, because I really want to rattle their cages, because this right here is a pet peeve for me. Like, I just get mad, you know. But thanks for having me, man. And it was like good seeing you. And I'm here for you. Yo, reach out anytime you need me, bro. I am here.
Yep, definitely. Same here, man. Thank you so very much for coming on. Appreciate it. And it was a privilege to have you, by the way.
That was a privilege for me to be on, man. I like this. Keep doing what you're doing. Bring it to the people, and let's start getting solutions. Like, we know our problem. Let's start bringing solutions to the table, and each one teach one. We execute it, put it in effect, and things will change.
Definitely. All right, bro. Take care.
All right, man. All right, be good.
All right, bye.